All right, folks, an update for you of the last 24 hours that Israel has faced an unprecedented Iranian barrage of rockets. Altogether, all told, it looks like about 2,000 rockets, some from the north, some maybe from Gaza, but definitely from Iran. Basically, a giant attack onto Israel. And let's see some of the videos of what that looked like. So here's video number one of the rockets and how it looked like. Check this out. This guy's driving.
No! You! You! You!
All right. Luckily, he didn't get into a car accident from seeing that rocket land very close to him. And indeed, rockets landed in the Netivot Air Force Base in Hoda Sharon, where about 100 houses were hurt. And we only found out that this morning. So houses, there was injuries there was property destruction. No Israeli Jews were killed. One Gazan Arab hanging around Jericho was killed. There is footage of that. I don't want to show it, but basically a rocket lands on a guy, like just a empty rocket just lands right on top of him, and he was killed. That is some bad karma that happened when the jihad wants to destroy Israel. It ends up destroying their own people. That is the problem of the jihad. It is self-destructive at the end. Let's see some more of that rocket attack.
راح المطار راح مطار نفتيم راح يا رب يا اولاد مطار.
Let me just explain what's going on here. You're looking at Bedouins watching rockets hit the southern Israeli Air Force base of Netivot. So, the claim that rockets did not hit anything is obviously not true, and you could hear the nervousness and excitement of this Bedouin. Ya Rabba, he says, like, oh my God, this is unbelievable what's happening. Let's continue this video.
Ya Rabba, Ya Allah.
Some are being hit by Iron Dome, and others are falling and smashing into what seems to be the Netivot Air Force Base. Okay, so that is video number 2 of the rocket attack yesterday. Do you understand what we're talking about? We're talking about a barrage of massive proportions. We're talking about something that is just so huge, and that's what Israel is facing. Israel is facing a massive rocket attack. Can you picture it? Imagine if in your homes, wherever you're living, we would be facing such a rocket attack. Here's Israeli Jews in the Beit Shemesh area. He's saying we are in Beit Shemesh, in Ramat Beit Shemesh. We're in our synagogue. We're building the sukkah, the booth for this year's Sukkot holiday. And he says, look what's happening. There's the sukkah that he's building. God should protect us. So these are incoming rockets into Israel in the area of Beit Shemesh. He says he thinks he's going to a different neighborhood in Beit Shemesh. See what's happening above my sukkah. All told, there's about 2,000 rockets that flew into Israel. He says, God, what is this? He hears the booms. It shook him. It just shook him. You heard the boom? It says he doesn't stop. Look how many. And this one's above Jerusalem. Now you hear all kinds of noise also. This is above the city of Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, spiritual capital of the world. And it's flying towards Jerusalem. Some are being shot out of the sky, but certainly not all. Certainly not all. So Israel's air defense system is not foolproof. The other Iron Dome that we have, which is God Almighty, is protecting the Jewish people because no Jews were hurt or killed from this massive rocket attack. However, it's important to note that there was a different attack in which Jews were indeed murdered. We'll get to that in a minute. That is the images you're seeing above Jerusalem. Now you're hearing, what is that whistling and joy that you hear? Well, sadly, a lot of the Arab villages in the Jerusalem area were cheering for joy as Israel was attacked. That's well known that that's a problem that we have. In fact, I have a video of Arabs cheering for that. I'll show it to you in a little bit. But in any case, that is what happened over Jerusalem. So, as I said before, a massive attack onto Israel. And can you just picture yourself facing such an attack? And myself, my family were also in our bunker safe room, as all of our neighbors were. So a very intense night last night. Here is the IDF's report on what transpired.
Launched a large-scale attack of over 180 ballistic missiles directly from Iranian soil at the state of Israel. There were a small number of hits in the center of Israel and some other hits in the southern Israel. The majority of the incoming missiles were intercepted by Israel and a defensive coalition led by the United States. Iran's attack is a severe and dangerous escalation. There will be consequences. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are at the highest levels of readiness. Our operational plans are ready. We will respond wherever, whenever, and however we choose, in accordance with the directive of the government of Israel. Iran and its proxies have been attacking Israel since the 7th of October on 7 fronts. Iran and its proxies seek the destruction of Israel. The Israel Defense Forces will continue doing everything necessary to defend the state of Israel and protect the people of Israel.
Okay, so there was Israeli IDF spokesman talking about the attack that Israel faced yesterday. And he said the IDF is going to strike back, and indeed there's preparations right now for an Israeli strike on Iran. Some commentators are nervous about this. They're saying this is like World War III or the Gog-Magog prophecy of a giant escalation in this region. Be that as it may, Iran did fire directly at Israel, a massive attack, and that attack is going to be answered one way or another. Let's see how Iranian people are reacting to this in Iran. Video that got snuck out of Iran shows this. Basically, long lines for the gas station. Everybody wants to gas up before Israel strikes at Iran and maybe takes out its oil refineries or its abilities to deliver fuel to the cars in the streets. So there's a huge line of cars to gas up. That's very interesting because maybe that really is foreshadowing an Israeli attack. Could be. And we do have the holiday of Rosh Hashanah coming up. So is this going to be a time where there's going to be an effort to attack, or Israel is on a lower readiness because people are at home for the holidays? Well, we'll see. I wanted to show you one video that I also found, which is sad, very sad to see Israeli Arabs cheering for joy as the rockets are flying overhead onto Israel. Okay, God is great. Okay, you see they're watching the stuff fly onto Israel, and they are cheering. You see they're really cheering for joy, which is so ironic because there's so many videos Remember that video that I showed you before of Jerusalem? Khalil is Hebron. And the sad thing about this video is we're looking at Israeli Arabs and so-called Palestinian Arabs, i.e. Arabs that live in Judea and Samaria and the so-called West Bank, and they're cheering for joy. So sad because there are so many videos showing Arabs in Syria blessing Prime Minister Netanyahu and cheering the destruction of Hassan Nasrallah, who was lined up with the Assad regime, which has killed 500,000, at least 500,000, if not 1 million Syrians. And so Syrian Arabs are cheering Israel as a liberator. And yet here, Arabs that live and benefit from Israel are cheering the effort to destroy Israel. So those kind of Arabs must be found and must be excised from our society, because there's no way that we could deal with people within that want to see our destruction. I think that's pretty obvious. And I heard him mention Khalil twice, which means that he was talking about Hebron. And indeed, yesterday, while the rocket attack caused a lot of damage, it did not injure or kill any Jews miraculously. But it's important to say that there was an attack that was successful yesterday, and that was an attack of two armed terrorists. And there is video of it. I'm just not going to show it. 2 armed terrorists who came into a train station in Jaffa on the coastal plain next to Tel Aviv and began shooting up the passengers and the travelers. And this morning we got news that the 7th victim succumbed to her wounds. And so there are 7 people who were murdered, including a woman with a 9-month-old baby in some kind of satchel, some kind of carry case next to her. And the baby was miraculously spared, but at the same time is now without a mother forever. So it's not like, Israel was definitely protected tremendously yesterday from the massive rocket attack. Although I say again, Netivim Air Force Base was hurt. And so were houses in Hod Sharon. But generally speaking, that rocket attack was not so successful. But one of the other proxies that Iran has, which is Hamas, was successful in a awful attack. Let's listen to the reaction of the first responders as they report from the scene.
At 7 p.m., Magen David Adom received a call of a terror attack occurring in Tel Aviv. Magen David Adom teams with ambulances, with medicycles, and dozens of paramedics rushed to the scene just to find out that 2 terrorists had opened fire in the light railway station and at the light railway itself as it was going. Magen David Adom paramedics treated 18 casualties at the scene. Tragically, 6 of them were pronounced dead. With those that were murdered in this...
Okay, 6, it became later 7. So the number that I said is correct. It started with 6 Israelis murdered by gunfire, and later another one succumbed to her wounds.
Terror attack. There were 4 women, one of them still a teenager, and 2 men. The eldest of them is only 30 years old. This terror attack scene was very challenging and complex, as the terrorists were shooting at the light railway as it was going. So the scene was spread over large distances, making Magen David Adom teams divide the scene for 2 different scenes and coordinating with the security forces that were at place itself. Magen David Adom teams stand ready to respond for any other terror attacks that may occur, with its fleet of 1,700 ambulances, hundreds of medicycles, and 33,000 volunteers, paramedics, and EMTs.
And these 2 jihad shooters were from Hebron. And so one of the fronts that Israel's got to take care of is we have the Iranian front, we have the Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, we have Hamas in Gaza, but yes, we also have Hamas in Hebron, and many of the murderers and the terrorists come out from that town. That's where I work. That's where we have a small Jewish community, and we have to fight in order to clean that place out from the awful terrorists that the Hamas ideology and the terrorism that grows there. All right, let's see Prime Minister Netanyahu's reaction to what happened yesterday.
אני שולח תנחומים למשפחות נרצחי הפיגוע הנפשע ביפו.
So I'm gonna translate for you. Prime Minister Netanyahu says, at the beginning of my words, I want to send my condolences to the victims of the Jaffa attack, what turned out to be 7 hurt, I think 7 killed, 7 murdered, and 15 hurt. So he says that's the first thing I want to say is I want to pay my condolences. And I wish a speedy recovery to all those who are injured.
כמו במתקפת הטילים, גם מאחורי הפיגוע הזה יש יד מכוונת ורצחנית.
So he says, just like in the aerial attack of rockets, there is a hand behind this attack, this terror attack that killed 7 people. There's a hand behind it. Who is that hand?
היא מגיעה מטהרן.
And it comes directly from Tehran. Tehran is the address. It's the responsible party for this terror attack.
הערב איראן שוב תקפה את ישראל במאות טילים.
Tonight, Iran attacked Israel with hundreds of rockets again.
המתקפה הזאת נכשלה. היא סוכלה בזכות מערך ההגנה האווירי של ישראל.
But this attack failed. It was thwarted by the Israeli air defense system, and I'm adding to it, and of course by God Almighty, the real Iron Dome of Israel.
שהוא המתקדם ביותר בעולם.
The Israel defense, air defense, is the most advanced in the world.
ואני מברך את צה"ל על ההישג המרשים. היא גם סוכלה בזכות
And I bless the IDF for their impressive success. And now he's going to also mention the importance of the civilians who were cautious and heeded the civilian authority laws or requests to stay shelter in place, etc.
ערנות והאחריות שגיליתם אתם אזרחי ישראל.
It's your quick reaction time, your awakenedness, that your quick response is also what prevented more damage from happening.
ואני מודה גם לארצות הברית על תמיכתה במאמץ ההגנה שלנו.
I want to thank the United States of America for also supporting our air defenses. And here the Prime Minister would do to also really thank God for the great defense, because as you saw yourself in the videos that I showed, there were quite a bit of rockets that did land and hit their mark, and it's just by sheer miracle that we didn't have more and more killed and injured.
איראן עשתה הערב טעות גדולה.
Tonight, Iran made a huge error, and it's going to pay for it.
איראן לא מבין את נחישותנו להגן על עצמנו ואת נחישותנו לגמול לאויבינו.
Iran does not understand the depth of our commitment to defend ourselves and also to pay back anybody who seeks to injure us.
סינואר ודף לא הבינו זאת, נסראללה ומוחסן לא הבינו זאת.
So he mentions the Hamas heads and the Hezbollah heads who did not understand our commitment to defense, and they were taken out. He is mentioning, by the way, he's hinting that Sinwar might be dead. It is unknown where he is. He has not been heard of for a long time. So he's hinting here that Sinwar has been killed.
וכנראה יש בטהרן אלה שלא מבינים זאת.
And he's saying, and there are those in Iran who seem to not understand this, but they will understand, i.e. he's signaling, I think, that he is willing to attack Iranian leaders directly.
נעמוד בכלל שקבענו. מי שתוקף אותנו, אנחנו תוקפים אותו.
We have a rule that we're going to follow, which is whoever attacks us, we attack him.
זה נכון בכל מקום כשאנחנו נלחמים בציר הרשע. זה נכון ליהודה ושומרון, זה נכון לעזה, ללבנון, לתימן, לסוריה, וזה נכון גם לאיראן.
So he says this is true in all of the theaters that we're fighting in, Judea and Samaria, Gaza, South Lebanon, Yemen, and also Iran itself. So he's saying that the sovereign state of Iran is not off limits. I would like to add to that, like look at the situation that we're really in. Israel has really allowed itself to be surrounded by enemies on all fronts, and not to mention the American campus front and other fronts, political fronts, diplomatic fronts at the UN. And I must say, when this is all over, there must be an accounting for how we allowed ourselves to get into the state. But I guess we can't do that now.
אנחנו נלחמים בציר הרשע בכל מקום, כולל חיילינו הגיבורים שפועלים עכשיו בדרום לבנון ובעזה.
We are fighting the axis of evil in all places, including our soldiers that are right now in Gaza and the incursion into South Lebanon.
היום יותר מתמיד, כוחות האור בעולם חייבים להתאחד ולפעול יחד נגד משטר האייתולות החשוך, שהוא מקור הטרור והרוע באזורנו.
So he says, now more than ever, forces of light in this world, and he's reaching out to other countries, have to get together to fight the forces of darkness, which is Iran, which wants to bring a darkness upon all of us. We have to get together to fight this evil axis and this source of darkness.
עליהם לעמוד לצד ישראל.
Those nations that seek to be on the side of light have to stand with Israel at this time.
הבחירה מעולם לא הייתה ברורה יותר.
The choice has never been clear.
בין העריצות לחופש, בין
between dictatorship and freedom,
הברכה לקללה.
between blessings and curses.
בערב ראש השנה אני אומר לכם אזרחי ישראל.
And now at the eve of Rosh Hashanah, I say to you, citizens of Israel.
ישראל בתנופה, בציר הרשע בנסיגה.
He says Israel is on the upswing and is attacking while the enemies are in retreat. The forces of his term that he's using now is axis of evil. Tzir haresha, axis of evil. So he's saying the axis of evil is in retreat.
נעשה כל מה שצריך כדי להמשיך מגמה זו, להשיג את כל מטרות המלחמה, ובראשם החזרת כל חטופינו.
We're going to do everything we can to fulfill all of the goals of this war, including the returning of the hostages.
ולהבטיח את קיומנו ועתידנו.
And also to ensure our future and our survival.
שנה טובה ופתוחה לכולכם.
May you have a good and secure year this year. So Prime Minister Netanyahu giving a strong message. And I think the one thing that has to be really added here is the request that we have of God Almighty in this new year to protect the Jewish people. These things go hand in hand. A strong military goes together with a strong faith in God. Faith in God gives the blessings. Blessings give us room to have faith in God. It's one and the same. There's really a triad of things that Israel has to be strong in. It has to be strong militarily, economically, and spiritually. Those things go together. And if you look at the Bible, you'll see that those are blessings that always go together. You push back on the bad guys, you have security, you have economy, you have children, and of course you have spirituality, and you come up to Jerusalem 3 times a year. One more thing I want to show you now, and this is a rapper, an Israeli rapper named Ari Lesser, an English-speaking rapper, and he's got a little rap that we got to hear for Rosh Hashanah, for the new year. Let me bring that up. That is on my daughter found it for me on YouTube, so I'm just going to bring that up right now. Let's see if it looks good for you. All right, let's make it a little bit bigger. And no, I don't think it's going to get any bigger. Hold on one second. Just 1 second. I want to make it just as big as I can for you. Let's take a look at what the great Ari Lesser has a message for us today.
May you be signed and sealed for a Shana Tova from the 1st of Tishrei till the year's over. The king will remember every good thing that you've done and bring you a great blessing. May you be successful in all you do, you and the rest of your family too. Learn lots of Torah, make tons of money with a year that's sweeter than apples and honey. May you be signed and sealed for Shana Tova. From the 1st of Tishrei till the year's over, the king will remember every good thing that you've done and bring you a great blessing. May you be successful in all you do, you and the rest of your family too. Learn lots of Torah, make tons of money with a year that's sweeter than apples and honey.
All right, so that was great stuff from Ari Lesser, and that's what I wanted to finish off this video with a message for you, which is that Am Yisrael Chai, we are definitely in an up and down time. There's days where we're high after the killing of Nasrallah, and days where we feel low after 7 people killed yesterday in Israel in bomb shelters and rockets hitting us. It is a war. It is a war. Just like Purim was a war, we're against the Amalekites, the Persian Amalekites. Not all Persians are Amalekites. That's not what I mean to say. But those that are there are millions of Persians that stand with Israel. And Israel's got to be strong in all of its ways. As I said before, militarily, economically, spiritually, in its narrative. Israel's got to have a strong narrative. And that's where you and I are part of the fight as well. We got to push out and propagate that strong narrative, the strong narrative of Israel. Israel's on its land. It has every right in its land. It has every right to destroy the enemies who seek to destroy it. It has to use the internal sense of justice, the historical justice, the godly justice that it has inside to push back. And when Israel is strong, the whole world will be in better shape. The whole world. Everybody's looking to Israel to see if it will succumb to jihadism and anti-Semitism, or will it burst out, push back in those guys, and open up this whole region to be a blessed region, an Abrahamic region, a region of tourism, of medicine, of children growing up in prosperity, of blessings, of Jerusalem being a spiritual capital. That is the opportunity. We are in a time of a great challenge, but we're also in a time of a great opportunity, and we have to pray. And I really want to ask everybody that's listening to this program to use the next 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, and then the Sabbath afterwards as a time for reflection, for prayer, and also to exude as much juice as we can right now. Sometimes you have to a little bit fake it till you make it, a little bit of like push it extra, and then you'll see, don't be embarrassed. Push it out a little bit, your prayers and your requests and your strength and your broadcasting on your channels. We have to push it out hard right now. And if we kind of exude it, an exuberance that we have to exude, then it'll become real inside of us, and people will see that light that's shining through. We've got to push through right now this axis of darkness that wants to be all around us. We can't let them win. We've got to know our narrative. We've got to know that we are a channel of blessings, God's blessings. So I do wish you a Shana Tova. God bless you. Thank you to my team that helps make it happen. Please subscribe to our various channels, including here on YouTube, Yishai Fleischer TV. Lots of love and lots of blessings from the land of blessings, and shalom.